The leash of the earth. The oppressive heat of the monsoon night did little to warm the cold, unnatural weight of the Angkorian Amulet against my chest. Outside, the deafening chorus of cicadas, a sound as constant as my own breathing in this village, abruptly ceased. It was not a fading away, but a sudden, sharp cut, as if a switch had been thrown. The ringing silence that replaced it felt heavier, more suffocating than the humidity itself. I could feel the sweat trickle down my temples, but the skin beneath the amulet was ice cold. A cloying sweetness, like mangoes left to rot in the sun for too long, began to drift up through the bamboo slats of the floorboards. It was a thick, nauseating smell that caught in the back of my throat. It was followed by a sound, a wet, dragging sound from the mud below my stilt house, a sound of immense weight being pulled through thick, sucking earth. My hand, trembling, went to the amulet. I felt its carved face, a leering deva or something that looked like one worn smooth by centuries of forgotten history. It grew impossibly cold against my skin, a circle of frost in the furnace of the night. My heart hammered against my ribs. The old women in the market who sold these trinkets to tourists always spoke of curses, of misfortune brought by disturbing the old places. But this felt different. This amulet wasn't bringing misfortune. It was calling something home, something that had been waiting patiently in the dark, wet soil for a new master to serve. It had only been a week since I found it. I worked construction, one of the countless teams building a new French-owned resort just outside Siem Reap, carving a space for luxury out of the stubborn jungle. We were digging the foundation for the main lobby, our machines tearing into the rich, red earth that had lain undisturbed for 1,000 years. My shovel struck something hard. It wasn't the familiar clink of rock, but a dull, solid thud. I scraped away the dirt, and there it was, a disk of dark, greenish stone, caked in mud but unmistakably worked by human hands. That evening, after washing the dirt from it with water from the rain barrel, I saw the face. It wasn't the serene, smiling face of the Buddhas at Bayon. This one was different. Its eyes were wide, its mouth open in a permanent, silent snarl. It was a guardian, a fierce protector. I looped a piece of worn leather through the hole at the top and hung it around my neck. It felt heavy, substantial. A piece of the great empire, of the kings who commanded armies and built temples to the heavens. My wife, Sathya, looked at it with unease. "Bong, where did you get that?" she asked, her hands pausing as she chopped morning glory for our soup. "At the site, just in the ground," I said, puffing my chest out a little. "It must be good luck, a blessing from the ancestors." She touched it lightly with her fingertip and then pulled her hand back as if burned. "It feels cold. It doesn't feel kind." I laughed it off. I was a modern man. I worked with steel and concrete. I didn't believe in the old stories of spirits in the banyan trees or ghosts that haunt the rice paddies, not really. To me, it was just a beautiful piece of history, a story I could hold in my hand. It was proof that this land, my land, was once the center of the world. The first few nights, nothing happened. I slept better than I had in months, a deep, dreamless sleep. I felt stronger at work, lifting more, working longer without tiring. I thought Sathya was wrong. The amulet was a blessing. It was my luck finally turning. Then came the silence. The dragging sound continued, a slow, laborious scraping through the mud beneath me. SHHH thump, SHHH thump. It was moving parallel to the length of the house, from the front stilts towards the back where our small sleeping room was. The smell intensified, so potent now I felt my stomach lurch. It was the smell of the grave, the smell of earth that has held death for too long. I held my breath, trying to place the sound. It wasn't a water buffalo, they were penned for the night. It wasn't a dog or a pig. It was too large, too heavy. The wooden poles that held our home above the mud of the rainy season were thick, made of good timber. But I felt a vibration travel up them, a low thrumming that resonated in my bones. My daughter Lina, only 5 years old, whimpered in her sleep from the small mat in the corner of the room. Sathya stirred beside me, her breathing shallow and fast. She was awake. She was listening, too. Her hand found mine in the dark, her fingers icy with fear. She didn't say a word. We just lay there, frozen, as the dragging sound made its slow, deliberate journey under our home. It reached the back of the house, directly beneath our room, and then it stopped. The silence that followed was worse than the sound had been. We waited, every muscle tense. I counted the seconds, the minutes. The air was thick with the foul sweetness, unmoving. Then a new sound, a soft, wet tapping. It was coming from directly beneath the floorboards where I lay. Tap, tap, tap. Gentle, almost polite, like a visitor asking to be let in from below. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab my family and run out into the night. But where would we go? We were surrounded by the darkness of the countryside, miles from the nearest town. The amulet on my chest felt like it weighed 100 kilos, pinning me to the mat. The leering face felt like it was pressing into my very soul. The tapping stopped. The silence returned, and with it, the chorus of cicadas slowly, hesitantly, started up again, their song sounding weak and frightened. The smell began to fade, slowly receding back into the earth, leaving only the familiar scent of damp soil and night-blooming jasmine. We didn't sleep for the rest of that night. We lay side by side, eyes wide open in the dark, until the first hint of gray dawn broke the horizon and the village roosters began to crow. Sathya finally spoke, her voice a strained whisper. "Bong, you must take it to Lokta Chen today." Lokta is what we call a respected elder, and Lokta Chen was the oldest man in our village, a man whose grandfather had seen the French arrive. He had been a monk in his youth and was said to know the old ways, the stories that weren't written in books. My modern skepticism had been washed away by the terror of the night. I nodded, my throat too dry to speak. Later that morning, with the sun already beating down and turning the puddles from the night's rain to steam, I took my old moto to his home. His house was small, tidy, and dark inside, smelling of medicinal herbs and incense. He sat on a woven mat, his back straight despite his age, his eyes cloudy with cataracts but still sharp, still seeing. I greeted him with a respectful sampi, my palms together, and sat before him. I explained how I had found the amulet, trying to keep my voice steady. I didn't tell him about the dragging sound or the smell. I was afraid he would think I was crazy. I just said I felt uneasy, that my wife was worried. I took the amulet from around my neck. The moment it was off, I felt a strange lightness, but also a sense of loss, of being exposed. I held it out to him in my palm. Lokta Chen did not take it. He leaned forward, squinting, his wrinkled face inches from the stone carving. He breathed in sharply. For a long moment he was silent, his gaze fixed on the snarling face. "Where did you say you found this?" he asked, his voice a dry rasp. "At the construction site, Lokta, near the barre." He shook his head slowly, a deep sadness in his expression. "This is not a deva," he said, pointing a trembling finger at the amulet. "Look at the eyes. They are not serene. They are filled with rage. This is the face of a guardian, but it does not guard a temple. It guards a tomb, or something that should have been a tomb." He leaned back, his eyes looking past me into a time long ago. The old kings, the great Devaraja, they had power we cannot imagine. They built with stone and with magic. They had priests and sorcerers who could bind spirits to their will. Some spirits were of the sky, some of the water. But the most powerful, the most dangerous, were the spirits of the earth, the Anak Kem, the children of the soil. My blood ran cold at his words. Anak Kem. I had heard the term before, in children's stories meant to scare them from wandering into the deep forest. "They are not ghosts," he continued. "They are older than ghosts. They are the earth itself, given thought and hunger. A powerful sorcerer could bind one, force it into service. They would guard their master, bring him treasures from beneath the ground, protect his lands, and destroy his enemies. But their service is a curse. The Anak Kem does not understand human ways. It is a thing of mud and roots and decay. Its treasures are old bones. Its protection is to bury your enemies alive. Its home is the wet, dark earth, and it will try to make a home for its master there too." He finally looked at me, his cloudy eyes seeming to pierce right through me. "This amulet is not a piece of jewelry. It is a leash, a key. By wearing it, you have claimed ownership. You have woken it up. It has been sleeping for centuries deep in the mud. Now it recognizes you. It has a master again. A wave of nausea washed over me. The dragging sound, the smell of rot, the tapping, it was the creature, it was my servant. What do? I whispered, my voice cracking. Can I destroy it? Lokta Chen gave a sad, bitter laugh. Destroy it? You might as well try to destroy the rain. This stone is a focus, but the bond is now with you. It is in your scent, your spirit. If you throw it away, it will only anger the creature. It will think its master has abandoned it. It will tear down this village looking for you. It will drag you back. He paused, a grim finality in his voice. You have two choices. You can find a monk of great power, a true master of ceremonies, and hope he can perform a ritual to sever the bond and put the creature back to sleep. This is very difficult, very dangerous. The spirit will not want to let you go. The ritual could fail. It could kill the monk. It could kill you. And the second choice? I asked, dreading the answer. You learn to be its master, he said softly. You learn to command it, but you must be careful. It is like having a tiger by the tail. It will serve you, but it will always be a tiger. It will always want to pull you down into the darkness with it. I left Lokta Chen's house with the amulet back around my neck. Its weight felt immense now, a chain pulling me towards the grave. The sun seemed too bright, the sounds of the village too cheerful. I felt like a dead man walking. When I got home, Sathya knew from the look on my face. I told her everything Lokta Chen had said. She began to cry, silent tears streaming down her face as she held Lina tight. That night, we didn't even try to sleep. We lit every candle we owned, the small house bright and hot, the smell of melting wax mixing with the scent of incense we burned at our small household shrine, praying to any spirit, any ancestor who might listen. But they didn't answer. Something else did. Just after midnight, it began again. The cicadas stopped. The foul, sweet smell of decay seeped up from the floor. And then the dragging. SHHH thump. SHHH thump. It was faster this time, more purposeful. It moved directly to the spot beneath our room and stopped. Lina started to cry, not in her sleep this time, but awake, her eyes wide with terror, pointing at the floor. The mud man, Papa, she sobbed. The mud man is here. Then came the tapping, louder, more insistent. Tap, tap, tap. It wasn't a request anymore. It was a demand. The floorboards began to vibrate violently. A thin, dark line of mud oozed up between two of the bamboo slats like black blood from a wound. Sathya screamed. It was a raw, primal sound of pure terror. I grabbed the heavy machete I kept for clearing brush, my knuckles white. I was a modern man no longer. I was a cornered animal protecting his family. Get away from my house, I yelled at the floor, my voice shaking. In response, the tapping became a deafening bang. Bang, bang. The entire house shuddered on its stilts. A floorboard splintered with a crack like a gunshot. The smell of rot and wet grave dirt was overpowering. And then, through the new crack in the floor, something pushed its way up. It wasn't a hand, not a human hand. It was a collection of thick black roots caked in mud and slime, twisted together into the rough shape of fingers. They were strong, impossibly strong, widening the crack, splintering the wood further. More of it pushed through. It was an arm made of packed earth, river clay, and tangled vegetation, glistening wetly in the candlelight. It writhed on the floor, feeling the air searching. I scrambled back, pulling Sathya and Lina behind me. I couldn't fight this. How do you kill the earth itself? Another arm and then another pushed up through the floor in different places. Our small home was being invaded from below. The creature was not trying to get in. It was trying to unmake our floor, to open our home to the mud below. It wanted to pull us down. I remembered Lokta Chen's words. You learn to be its master. The amulet was freezing cold, burning my skin. The leering face carved on it seemed to be mocking me. It was my leash, my key. I was its master. I had to act like it. Summoning every ounce of courage I had, I stood up. I stared down at the closest muddy appendage, which was slowly, blindly, reaching towards my daughter's sleeping mat. "Stop!" I screamed. The word was torn from my throat, raw and full of a strange authority I didn't know I possessed. "I am your master. You will not harm them. Go back." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. The mud-endued arms continued their slow, relentless probing. Then, as if hearing a sound I couldn't, they all froze. The one reaching for Lina's mat paused, centimeters away. The vibrations in the floor ceased. The terrible pressure from below lessened. Slowly, hesitantly, the arms began to retreat, pulling back through the splintered floorboards, sinking back into the darkness. The thick, black mud that had oozed out seemed to drain away, pulled back down with them. The sound started again, the wet, dragging sound, but it was moving away from the house now, back into the night. The smell lingered for a long time, but eventually it too faded. The cicadas, after a long and terrified silence, began their song once more. "We are still here in this house. I still wear the amulet, I can't take it off. Sometimes I try, but a searing pain, a phantom burn, stops me. The bond is set. Sathya and Lina are safe for now, but our lives are a waking nightmare. I have learned to command it in a way." One day, a neighbor's prized buffalo, a creature known for its foul temper, broke its tether and charged at Lina as she played near the road. Before I could even move, I felt the amulet grow cold and I saw the ground in the buffalo's path bulge upwards. A wall of packed earth and roots erupted from the road, solid as rock, and the buffalo crashed into it, breaking its neck. My neighbor was devastated. The other villagers now look at me with fear. They whisper when I pass. They say my land is cursed. They are wrong, it is blessed. The soil around my house is unnaturally fertile. The vegetables in our small garden grow twice as large as anyone else's, their color a deep, vibrant green, though they have a faint, earthy taste I can no longer stomach. Strange, black orchids with petals like velvet have begun to bloom out of season along the stilts of our home. They are beautiful, but they smell faintly of the grave. Every night I hear the dragging sound, but it's different now. It's not approaching, it's patrolling. It circles my property, a silent, subterranean guardian. It brings me gifts. It leaves them on the ground just below my front steps for me to find in the morning. Sometimes it is an old piece of pottery. Once, it was a silver coin from the French colonial days. Last week, it was a human skull, its sockets packed with mud. I am its master. This ancient, tireless thing of the earth serves me. It protects my family. It provides for us, but I am also its prisoner. I can never leave this piece of land. The amulet is a part of me and the creature is a part of the land. We are bound together. Sometimes when the night is quiet, I feel it down there in the cool, wet darkness beneath my feet. I feel its patient, mindless loyalty. I feel its hunger, and I know what it truly wants. It wants me to join it. It wants to build me a palace not of stone, but of rich soil, a throne not of gold, but of tangled roots. It serves me in this life, but it is patiently waiting to serve me in the next, down in the suffocating, silent, eternal dark. So if you are ever walking in the old places, in the lands of ancient kings, be careful what you pick up. Be careful what you claim as your own. Some treasures are not meant to be found. Some leashes are not meant to be held. And some servants should be left to sleep forever in the earth.